Good evening. I am the Fairfax County Park Authority Board Vice Chair, Maggie Godbold. Welcome to our committee and board meetings this evening, October 26, 2022. It is 6:41 p.m. I will make the requisite motions so that we can conduct these meetings virtually. To conduct this meeting wholly electronically and to effectuate both the emergency procedures authorized by FOIA and the Fairfax County Emergency Ordinance, the Park Authority Board needs to make certain findings and determinations for the record, as we did at our first electronic meeting. During our meeting, if you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand. And when I recognize you, please say your name. This will ensure that you are recognized and the public knows who is speaking. If you intend to vote nay or abstain on any item, we will need to do a roll call on these votes. Because each member of this board is participating in these meetings from a separate location, we must verify that a quorum of members is participating and that each member's voice is clear, audible, and at an appropriate volume for all of the other members. Accordingly, I am going to conduct a roll call and ask each board member participating in these meetings to state your name and the location from which you are participating. I ask that each of you pay close attention to ensure that you can hear each of your colleagues. Following this roll call, we will vote to establish that every member can hear every other member's voice. We will go alphabetically. Also, as the evening progresses, if additional board members join us for our meetings, I will ask them to verify their audibility and location. So, Dr. Adu.
Abna Adu, I am participating from my residence in Franconia District.
Thank you. Dr. Carter.
Cynthia Jacobs Carter, and I am participating from my home in Franconia District.
Mr. Gorham.
This is Linwood Gorham. I'm participating from my home in the Mount Vernon District.
Mr. Hackman.
Tim Hackman, participating from my residence in the Drainsville District.
Mr. Kendall.
This is Ron Kendall, participating from my home in Mason District.
Mr. Khan.
Faisal Khan, I'm at my residence in Providence District.
Mr. Quincy.
Ken Quincy, participating from my home in the Providence District.
Mr. Stone.
This is Kyle Stone, participating from my home in the Braddock District.
And Mr. Thompson.
This is Mike Thompson, participating from my office in Alexandria.
Wonderful. I am Vice Chair Maggie Godbold, and I'm at my residence in the Sully District. Chairman Bill Bowie and Mr. Zook are absent and excused this evening. At this point, I will pass the virtual gavel to Secretary Thompson so that I may be heard to make the requisite motion. I move that each member's voice may be adequately heard by each other member of this board.
This is Mike Thompson. You've heard the motion. Is there a second?
Tim Hackman, I second.
This is Mike Thompson. It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying A. All those opposed say nay.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you, Mike. Second, this is Maggie Godbold. Second, having established that each member's voice may be heard by every other member, we must next establish the nature of the emergency that compels these emergency procedures. The fact that we are meeting electronically, what type of electronic communication is being used, and how we have arranged for public access to this meeting. Therefore, I move that the state of emergency caused by the COVID-19 pandemic makes it unsafe for this board to physically assemble and unsafe for the public to physically attend any such meeting, and that as such, FOIA's usual procedures, which require the physical assembly of this board and the physical presence of the public, cannot be implemented safely or practically. I further move that this board may conduct this meeting electronically through Zoom. It is so moved.
This is Mike Thompson. You've heard the motion. Is there a second?
Tim Hackman, I second.
This is Mike Thompson. Is there discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor say A. Any opposed say nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Madam Vice Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thompson. This is Maggie Godbold. Now that the preliminary matters are complete, we can begin the Planning and Development Committee meeting. And just remember, when you begin talking, please state your name. Mr. Quincy, I believe you have the floor.
Ken Quincy, I will now call the Planning and Development Committee to order. and ask Amy Vosper to introduce the item.
Thank you. Good evening. This is Amy Vosper, Deputy Director with the Park Authority, and I want to introduce the All Ability Center approach, project approach. As you might remember, the Erickson developers came in with a development on Braddock Road for a continuing care facility in 2018. As part of that rezoning and comprehensive plan amendment, the development resulted in about 30 acres of new parkland dedicated or will be dedicated to the Park Authority. Roughly 5-acre portion of that dedication is designed and designated for an indoor/outdoor recreation area. At this time, the developers have an approved site plan for a grading of the 4.7 acres, and which includes stepping out of utilities and a construction of a 100-space parking lot. Since the comprehensive plan amendment and rezoning, the All Ability Center has been a dream and vision of the former supervisor of Braddock District, John Cook. Former Supervisor Cook has created a fundraising team to raise money for this effort. The agreement is that the team, his fundraising team, will raise money with a goal of about $4 to $5 million, roughly 50% of the total envisioned project required for phase 1 by January 2024. If they are unable to raise the funds at that point, then staff will be back to the park board to consider other options. But with the approval of this item, it will allow the Park Foundation to accept funds for the project. One of the key points is that FCPA will not be raising funds for phase 1 or phase 2 of the project, nor will the Park Foundation. It will be all on the shoulders of the fundraising team set up by former Supervisor Cook. So we hope it's a recommendation that this item is approved in order for them to move their fundraising efforts forward. Any questions?
Ken Quincy, any questions, comments? Is there a consensus to move this forward?
Yes.
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 Okay. I guess that's it. So Ken Quincy, I will hereby adjourn the Planning and Development Committee meeting.
This is Maggie Godbold. We've got a couple of minutes before the next committee starts, so I guess we can just wait.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, I think this is Maggie Godbold, Vice Chair. I think Linwood, you have the gavel now.
I do. This is Linwood Gorman. I'd like to call the Park Operations Committee to order and turn it immediately over to Brendan to present the item.
Well, thank you. This is Brendan Hannafin, the Planning and Development Director for Park Authority. Happy to be here tonight. To talk about the Massenbrook Volunteer Matching Fund grant request from Woodlawn Little League. Next slide, please. As you saw from the presentation last month, this is a concept only of a restroom that restroom/concessions that we will be, if this goes forward, we will be putting at McNaughton Field. Next slide, please. The project location, you might remember that we did a lot of improvements to the McNaughton Fields Park a few years back with adding paid parking, some stormwater, subbed in some utilities. We also went ahead and put in the pad for this building. So that's already completed. You'll see the pad on the lower left corner of the slide. Next slide, please. The project budget for this grant is this is a little interesting. This grant is a little bit more interesting because the league is actually giving us or providing the design. So we have $100,000 for permitting and any professional services related to that design, $480,000 for construction, $140,000 for utilities, administration, and other costs for a total of $720,000 project cost. Our proposed funding sources are $500,000 from proffer funds from the Mount Vernon District, which is supported by the Mount Vernon District Park Board member. $200,000 from Woodlawn Little League as a cash contribution. And then there's $20,000 in this grant request for a total of $720,000. Next slide, please. The fiscal impact is kind of already stated, but $500,000 in proffer funds. And then the $20,000 in this grant, if approved. Contingent on approval of this grant, the new balance for the Madison Brook Volunteer Matching Funds Grant program will be $773,260.23. Next slide. Discussion questions. I can share the schedule with you if you'd like that, but do you have any questions?
This is Linwood. I don't have any questions, but do have a couple comments. This is something that we've been working on for several years now. And, as Brendan mentioned, the pad was put there when the ball fields were revitalized several years back now, and it always had been the intention to ultimately have this bathroom and snack stand there. And I'm just pleased that we do have a good partner, Lorton Little League. I'm sorry, not Lorton Little League. Woodlawn Little League, who's stepping up really to help us through this project all the way. I'm real excited about it. This Madison Brook grant also serves the dual purpose of memorializing the agreement between the Park Authority and that organization. The supervisor and myself are very much behind this, and hope that you support it also.
Yeah, Linwood. One comment slash, I don't think it's really a question, but something to think about based on the design. It looks very similar to the design that I had been shown as the potential for the bathrooms that are going to be put in at the high schools, where they just did that initiative where the schools and the board of supervisors are putting money towards that. One thing to think about is whether or not there's an efficiency that might be gotten by working with the same vendor and timeline that they're going through. In other words, if we can just tack in effect one thing on to something that's an order of 15 of these modular bathroom things they're doing at all the schools, it just there might be an opportunity here to maybe save a few dollars or something. So I would just recommend that we reach out to the folks doing that project and think about whether or not there's any cost savings there.
Now, this, of course, is bathrooms, but it is also a concession stand also. So
yeah, I saw that. One, if it's the same vendor, but two, that picture looks very, 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 very uber similar.
Yeah.
To the one that I was shown for the bathrooms.
Is that picture actually a rendition that we've gotten from Woodlawn Little League, or is it in fact what Mike is talking about?
It's a stock photo. The league has designed the building, and we do not have a copy of that yet. So we don't, other than high level, we don't have the design for the building. They were to submit to permitting this past week. Now the permits are going to a new system starting this week. So we've reached out to the architect to see if they've submitted yet. If not, they'll have to submit after the 1st of November. So this has already been designed.
Then everything I said may be completely useless depending on what the design is. It's just something to think about.
No, I mean, certainly worth consideration. I'm thinking it might be a different enough plan though that we're not able to overlap it, but we certainly should at least take a peek at it.
Yes. At least in the picture, it looks awfully similar to the one we have at Sully Highland Park.
I'm guessing it might in fact be that one.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything? All right, hearing nothing, do we have consensus to move this forward?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Does anybody else have anything for the Park Operations Committee? Hearing nothing, I'm adjourning the Park Operations Committee. Thank you for your support.
Okay, I 7. Hello, this is Vice Chair Maggie Godbold. This is, I want to invite everybody and thank everybody for coming to the Park Authority Board meeting on today, October 26, 2022. It is 7 p.m. All right, first up, our Public Information Officer, Judy Peterson. Are there any members of the public present who would like to speak?
Good evening. My name is Judy Peterson. There are no speakers tonight who want to speak. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Judy. This is Maggie Godbold again. Admin item number 1, countywide adoption of the minutes. I move that we adopt the minutes of the October 12th, 2022 Park Authority Board meeting.
This is Mike Thompson. I second the motion.
Very good. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, countywide admin item number 2, Park Authority Board meeting schedule, January through December 2023. I move we approve the Park Authority Board meeting schedule.
This is Mike Thompson. I second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion passes. All right. Action items, countywide A1, Planning and Development Division Annual Work Plan for fiscal year 2023. This is Maggie Godbold. Is there a motion?
Ken Quincy, I make a motion to approve the Planning and Development Division Annual Work Plan for FY 2023.
This is Mike Thompson. I second the motion.
Thank you. This is Maggie Godbold. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Hunter Mill District, action item number 2, scope approval, Lake Fairfax Park pedestrian bridge installation. Is there a motion to approve?
Ken Quincy, I make a motion to approve the Lake Fairfax Park pedestrian bridge installation.
This is Mike Thompson. I second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Very good. That motion carries. Springfield, action item number 3, scope approval, South Run Stream Valley Park Trail improvements. This is Maggie Godbold again. Is there a motion to approve?
This is Mike Thompson. I move to approve the South Run Stream Valley Park Trail improvements.
Ken Quincy, I second the motion.
Thank you. This is Maggie Godbold. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Braddock District, action item 4, All Abilities Center Project Approach. Is there a motion to approve?
This is Kyle Stone, Braddock District, and I would move approval.
Ken Quincy, I second the motion.
Thank you. This is Maggie Godbold. Any discussion? Great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. In Mount Vernon, action item 5, McNaughton Fields Park Maston Brook Volunteer Matching Funds Grant Program request for Woodlawn Little League. Is there a motion to approve?
This is Linwood Gorm. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Masson Brook grant as discussed in the previous committee meeting.
This is Mike Thompson. I second the motion.
Thank you. This is Maggie Godbold. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, I'm Maggie Godbold. I have very few matters. I only have one, which is not necessarily relevant, but I just want to remind everybody to vote in the election this year. Other than that, I will turn it over to Director Cole.
Thank you. And because I was asked so nicely, I am going to try to speak as slowly as possible. For my because I'm just playing. Can we bring it up, Allison? Great. Thank you very much. So first slide. I just wanted to highlight that the park takes came out for the winter. I highly encourage everybody to check it out. I want to also say how much work and time goes into that document every year. I know it's just automatic that we see park takes come in our mailbox, but a lot of staff put a lot of work into that. Specifically, I wanted to highlight and thank Tim and his lovely wife, Leslie Hackman, who set an example in the park takes. If you flip to the back page of park takes, you will see there it's a encouragement for people to give in their will, trust, and beneficiary to the Park Foundation. Next slide. Okay, we had the 15th was a very, very, very busy day for the Park Authority. I believe we had 4 major events that day. This was one of them. George Washington, we opened up at George Washington Park pickleball courts opening. It was a wonderful morning. People teased me during the Lorton Community Center, Library and Park opening that got shifted to later in the afternoon to accommodate a pickleball opening. And when people said it throughout the county, they said it as in a, did you know that? I'm like, well, yeah, it's the supervisor. And they kept saying, oh, for pickleball? I'm like, yeah. And then during the opening, I will say what they said, but this was a wildly popular. Everybody was super happy about this opening. Beautiful courts too. Next slide. We also on the same day had pickleball opening at Lewinsville Park. Same thing, people were super excited. That capped off the day and people played pickleball. It was a wonderful day. The courts again look phenomenal. These are also dedicated pickleball courts, which are really great for people who thoroughly enjoy the sport. Next slide. Nope. We also had the opening for the Lorton Community Center, Library and Park in Lorton. That was also a wonderful, that got shifted to the afternoon. A wonderful event. Hundreds of people were out there enjoying the brand new park. It's a beautiful playground. If you happen to go by there and look at it, it's wildly popular and there are kids on it at all times, not in school time. So please go and look at that. And it's a joint co-location of the park, a library, and the community center. So that was another phenomenal opening. Next slide. I wanted to identify, I have notes. As a pandemic canceled field trips and access to nature centers, our fantastic staff at Hidden Oaks developed a video alternative. That effort was recently recognized with a 3rd place win in the pandemic pivot category by the 2022 National Association for Interpretive Media Awards. Visitor Services Manager Susan Holland and naturalist Alex Dumbia worked with the school system's elementary school science curriculum coordinator Jill Curry to create 15 short videos of mini field trips and post them to YouTube. Each video ran between 4 to 7 minutes and highlighted science topics for kindergarten through 7th grade. 2 were created in Spanish, featuring Park Authority naturalist Cecia Lobo and Alex Dumbia. These free online courses, developed with financial support of Northrop Grumman Corporation and the Park Foundation, provided local experiences that students could relate to and visit at an area park with their parents. The live animal shows and the videos are now available to be visited in person at Hidden Oaks, but we commend staff who worked hard to pivot and continue to provide the service and outreach under the difficult circumstances of the pandemic. I believe that's the last one. There you go.
Very good. Thank you. This is Maggie Godbold again. I'll go around the board and ask you all if you have anything. Dr. Adu.
Nothing, thank you, Meg.
You're welcome. Dr. Carter.
Nothing tonight. Just want to remind everyone, as you know, Ellie Doyle is right around the corner, the awards. So get ready. It's going to be wonderful. And Judy and team always make sure of that. Thank you. And thanks to my co-chair.
Thank you.
Right.
Mr. Gorham.
This is Linwood Gorham. I'd just like to take a second to thank all the staff, Sarah and everyone else that helped with all things pickleball in the Mount Vernon Magisterial District in the last year or two. I think we've had a wildly successful run at those things, and my greatest thanks to you. One thing I want to just it's a question and doesn't have to be answered right now, but if somebody could get an answer to us or something. My wife noticed in Park Takes that the board's no longer recognized as we've always been in the past. And I just wonder if that was a conscious decision or an oversight or whatever. So if somebody wants to mention it now or some other time, it's all fine, but love to know that. And with that, I'll pass it along.
All right, thank you, Linwood. Mr. Hackman.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Tim Hackman. I'd also like to thank staff, Adam Wynn and others, and Jay for coming last week to or 2 weeks ago to the pickleball opening at Lewinsville Park. That was a dedication that was really terrific. And we've got a great team all around on that and many other efforts. So thank you. And with that, I'll pass.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Kendall.
Yeah, this is Ron Kendall. Nothing to add tonight. But again, I'm happy to be back and looking forward to things happening in November and December.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Khan.
Chair, I'll pass.
Thank you. Mr. Quincy.
Ken Quincy, I'll pass.
Thank you. Mr. Stone.
Kyle Stone, nothing for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Thompson.
I'll pass this evening. Thank you.
Very good. This is Maggie Godbold. We will now go into closed session.
This is Mike Thompson. I move the Park Authority Board recess and convene in closed session for discussion and consideration of matters enumerated in Virginia Code 2.2-3711 and listed in the agenda for the meeting as follows. The discussion of personnel matter pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A1, personnel matter relating to labor relations.
This is Tim Hackman. I second.
Thank you. This is Maggie Godbold. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries. We are now in closed session for approximately 10 minutes. So come out of closed session.
This is Mike Thompson. I move that the Park Authority Board return to open session.
Tim
This is
Hackman. I
Meg.
second.
Very good. This is Maggie Godbold. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Very good. That motion passes. Let's certify the topics discussed in closed session.
This is Mike Thompson. I move the Park Authority Board certified to the best of each member's knowledge. Only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under Virginia Code 2.2-3712, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the board.
Tim Hackman. I second.
Thank you. Maggie Godbold. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right.
All opposed? Very good. That motion carries. This was C1, personnel matters relating to labor relations, and no action was necessary. And with that, at 7:46 p.m., I adjourn the meeting. Thank you all very, very much for the great meeting. And
Well done,
have a
Maggie.
nice
Good
rest
night,
of the evening.
everybody.
Well
Good
done.
job. Bye.